Hi everybody, I'm Allie and today I'll be making Irish soda bread. You will need baking soda, vinegar, salt, flour, a little bit of sugar, and some milk, but that's in the fridge because I like my milk fresh. We'll need to set our oven to 375 if you're cooking with glass, or 400 if you're cooking with metal. The reason for this is that glass heats more evenly, and for whatever reason it cooks faster. And if you cook it at 400, it'll burn and it'll come out hard. So we set it for 375. Did I say 350? Okay. We set it for 375 for glass. Alright, first things first, we're going to take a half a cup of milk. Good. And we are going to put a half a teaspoon into the milk. And the reason for this is so that the milk will sour or curdle. It's very important. Some people use buttermilk to make soda bread, but traditionally Irish bread is made with soured milk. You can either use the vinegar trick, put it in the milk and let it sit for 10 minutes, or you can leave your milk overnight. And yes, because you're baking it, you're getting rid of all the dirt germs, so that's safe, even though it sounds gross. Right, now, we're just going to set the milk aside and let that sit. We're going to rinse this off because we need it again. Alrighty. Now, we're going to take 1 cup of flour. One cup. Poof. We're going to take just a little bit more and leave it in there for later because it makes it a lot easier to flour it and flour your hands when you're kneading it, because it will come out pretty sticky. And then we're going to take a 1/4 teaspoon, so about half of this, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, about half, and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. It sounds like a weird number because I'm having a recipe just to serve 2 people. This technically makes 4 servings, but because human beings actually eat 2 servings at a time, that's just fine. All right, I got the salt and the baking soda. That's good. And then just a small handful of sugar to taste. I usually take not even half a handful. But the sugar makes it a little bit sweeter, a little bit easier to eat. Alright, we mix the dry ingredients up all together. He's so pretty. Put this milk away. Now we're supposed to let the vinegar sit for 10 minutes, but because I don't feel like wasting 10 minutes of your time on this video, although I can go into all sorts of information about, flour and sugar and all of this stuff, and how baking soda reacts with vinegar and other acids in order to create the leavening agent. I could waste your time with all that, but it looks like your vinegar curdled the milk just fine. Comes out looking really nasty. So all we're going to do is mix the milk and the curds. Yes, the nasty little bits. Immediately throw water in this. We're just going to mix everything together. Now, for whatever reason, when I have mixed the curds back into the milk, so it just tastes like sour milk, my dough comes out sticky. But when I leave the curds as they are, the dough doesn't come out sticky. It comes out like kind of a dryish dough. I mean, it sticks to each other, but it won't stick to the pan and everything else. Not a whole lot anyway. Alright, mix it all together. I think we've got a pretty good dough here. So we take a pan. Just kind of powder the pan a little. We're going to try to get all the dough in one go. And you can ignore the screaming child. And the screaming cat. So now that we've got the dough in the pan, put that aside. What we're going to do is we're just going to kind of mix the dough. Powder the edges so it's easier to knead, but we're going to squish and fold. Squish and fold. Squish and fold. While you're doing this, your fingers will get horrible and sticky and gross and terrible. So just kind of put that back on the dough. Put some flour on your hands. Rub together. Now you can handle the dough again. Okay. And now I'm just going to do this for a little bit to kind of flatten it out, even it all out. And because it's fun. Alrighty. Da, 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 da. Now we spread it out to about a ½ an inch thick, because any thicker and it won't cook up in 15 minutes. It'll have like a wet spot in the middle. So we're just gonna squeeze it out, and you would have to cook it for longer, and then the crust is too thick and just kind of gross. We want the crust to be firm, but not thick. So get it all nice and thin. Flip it back upside down. Make sure it's all sticky and everything. Okay, ta-da! That's all you do. Now we put it in the oven and set the timer. I set it for 17 minutes because for whatever reason, usually my oven cooks faster. But with the glass and lower temperature, I want it to cook all the way through properly, so I just set it for 17 minutes instead of 15. So now we're going to take it out of the oven. Perfect. You can see little bits of caramelized sugar on it, just because I didn't mix the sugar in well enough, I guess. But the crust is firm, but still springy. So now with our bread knife, we're just going to free it from the baking dish while it's cooling. It's the easiest time to do it because any time after and it's a little sticky for me. Just kind of work your way around. Be careful, it is very hot. So I put it on a carpet, aka a dish towel, so that I can maneuver the pan around. And it is free with only a little bit of chunks, which are very tasty. I know you can't see me, but I'm enjoying it. We just let that cool for a few minutes. So while this is cooling, I'm just gonna watch it because it's nice and pretty. Turn the oven off, don't burn the house down. That would be a very bad thing, to burn the house down, just because I got distracted while baking. And I find it cools faster if I actually cut into it. So I'm just going to cut it into quarters because, well, my husband and I are eating it. Something else you can do with this is, because it's fairly thin but hearty, you can cut it in half one ways, and then after it's cooled, you can cut it like in a sandwich shape, or like a pita, or just a sideways sandwich, and you can make a sandwich that way. Because you can see it's fairly thin, So if you were to cut in half, you would have a pretty decent sized sandwich. But it's very hearty because it's very dense. So cut it in half, and then cut it in half again. It is still very hot. I'm using my fingernails to hold it still. And if you separate these, then all the hot air will escape from the inside, and it will cool faster. You can either serve these warm or room temperature. I don't know how long they would last after they've cooled. Like, I don't know how many days or so, because, well, it's fresh bread. It's not got any preservatives or extra salt or anything like that in it to help it last longer. So I don't know enough about bread to give you any recommendation on that, but why would you have leftover anyway? It's delicious. I think it's just about cool enough to kind of nibble on right now, because I can pick it up, I can handle it, it's not that hot. I just feel a little bit of this stuff. And that's some good bread. You'll like this. You can double it to make more. You'll need a bigger pan to do that. And that'll make 8 servings. So you would like cut it differently, but you would need a bigger pan. This pan is not big enough for twice this size. Or I could make it thicker and cook it for longer and end up with a slightly thicker crust, but it would cook all the way through that way. But it's good, and I think you'll like it. Make it yourself. Don't burn yourself. Kids, ask your parents for help. And have a great day. You should turn it off now. That's not how you turn it